Have you ever stopped to consider how the quality of our environment directly impacts our health? We live in a world filled with invisible threats that can significantly affect our well-being. One of these is environmental pollution, a pervasive problem that extends its reach from the air we breathe to the water we drink and the soil where our food grows. Air pollution, an omnipresent hazard, is more than just an outdoor issue. It's present indoors too, in the form of smoke, dust, and chemical fumes. Over time, these pollutants can cause respiratory diseases and heart problems, and even cancer. Water pollution too poses a significant threat to our health. Contaminated water sources, filled with harmful bacteria, viruses, and toxic chemicals, can lead to gastrointestinal illnesses, reproductive problems, and neurological disorders. And then there's soil pollution. The food we eat is nurtured by the soil, and any pollutants present can easily make their way into our bodies, leading to a range of health issues, from skin diseases to organ damage. Yet the effects of environmental pollution extend beyond these general health issues. Our constant exposure to these pollutants can lead to more severe long-term consequences, many of which are often overlooked. The invisible threat of environmental pollution is not just about the diseases we know and understand. It's also about the silent, insidious effects that we might not see until it's too late. It's about the subtle changes that occur in our bodies, changes that can affect us, our children, and even our children's children. Consider this. The toxins we breathe, drink, and eat today can potentially alter our genetic makeup, leading to a higher risk of disabilities in our offspring. The threat is real, and it's happening right now. We must face the truth. Our environment is not just a backdrop to our lives. It is a vital part of our existence, intricately linked to our health and well-being. And the quality of this environment can and does affect us in profound ways. As we delve deeper, we will uncover the shocking correlation between environmental pollution and disabilities. Did you know that the environment you are exposed to, even before birth, can significantly affect your health? This might seem like a bold claim, but it's backed by a wealth of scientific research. Let's delve a bit deeper. Picture a pregnant woman. She breathes in the air around her, drinks water, and eats food. All these elements carry traces of the environment, which can include pollutants. The placenta, which we often think of as a perfect barrier, isn't entirely impervious. These pollutants can cross this protective shield and reach the developing fetus. This is what we refer to as prenatal exposure to pollutants. The potential effects of such exposure are far-reaching and can be quite severe. It's not just about immediate health risks. The real concern lies in the long-term developmental issues these pollutants can cause. These can range from minor to major birth defects, learning disabilities, or even more severe developmental disorders. Several studies have drawn a link between prenatal pollutant exposure and these outcomes. One research in particular, conducted over a span of 10 years, found a significant increase in autism spectrum disorders in children whose mothers were exposed to high levels of air pollution during pregnancy. Another study discovered a similar pattern with attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. Other research has pointed to a correlation between exposure to heavy metals like lead and mercury and physical birth defects. Even low-level exposure to these toxins can interfere with a baby's development, leading to a range of health issues and disabilities. And it's not just about the individual. These health issues can have ripple effects on families, communities, and societies. The economic and emotional costs of caring for people with disabilities can be substantial. It's a burden that could be prevented, or at least reduced, with better environmental practices. Sadly, the risks do not end at birth. It continues throughout our lives. As we grow and develop, our bodies continue to interact with the environment and the pollutants it may contain. The challenge then is not just to protect our unborn children, but to ensure a cleaner, healthier environment for everyone. Imagine living in a polluted area, not for a day, a week, or a month, but for years. What could be the potential impact on your health? Imagine the air you breathe every day is filled with invisible, harmful particles. The water you drink carries tiny traces of heavy metals. The food you eat is tainted with pesticides. This isn't a dystopian future. It's a reality for many people who live in heavily polluted areas around the world. The long-term exposure to pollutants can have a profound effect on human health. It's not just about coughs and colds or even chronic diseases like asthma and cancer. Pollution can also lead to disabilities, impairing people's physical or cognitive abilities, sometimes from the moment they are born. For instance, exposure to lead, a common pollutant in many parts of the world, can lead to neurological damage. This can result in conditions like learning disabilities and behavioral disorders in children. Similarly, exposure to mercury, another widespread pollutant, can lead to damage to the nervous system, impairing physical and cognitive abilities. Air pollution, too, can have severe effects. Prolonged exposure to polluted air can lead to respiratory diseases and can also impact cognitive abilities. Studies have shown links between air pollution and decreased cognitive function, leading to conditions like dementia. Moreover, some pollutants, like endocrine disruptors, can interfere with our body's hormonal systems, leading to a range of health effects, including developmental disorders and birth defects. These are disabilities that individuals may carry with them from birth, affecting their entire life trajectory. Now, it's important to understand that pollution doesn't always directly cause these disabilities. Often, it exacerbates existing conditions, making them worse. But the link is clear. The more polluted our environment, the higher the risk of disability. Clearly, the consequences of pollution are far-reaching and life-altering. Living in a polluted environment is not just uncomfortable. It's a threat to our health, our abilities, and our very lives. It's a threat we need to take seriously, for ourselves and for future generations. Now, you might be thinking, how big of a problem is this really? Let's look at the bigger picture. Globally, it's estimated that more than 1 billion people, or about 15% of the world's population, live with some form of disability. This figure is on the rise, and environmental pollution is playing a hefty role in that. A significant proportion of these disabilities could be linked to pollution, although the exact figures are challenging to pin down due to the complex nature of the problem. When we dig a little deeper, we find that the burden of disability isn't spread evenly across the globe. It's a grim reality that those in lower-income countries, where environmental regulations may be lax or non-existent, bear the brunt of pollution-related disabilities. These regions often lack the infrastructure to safely manage waste or control industrial emissions, leading to higher levels of environmental pollution. Consequently, the prevalence of disabilities is significantly higher. In contrast, higher-income countries have more stringent environmental regulations and better waste management systems, reducing the population's exposure to harmful pollutants. However, even in these countries, disparities exist. Lower-income and marginalized communities often live in areas with higher pollution levels, leading to a higher incidence of disabilities. It's a stark reminder that environmental pollution and its consequences don't respect borders or socioeconomic status. The link between environmental pollution and disabilities is a global issue, affecting people from all walks of life. It's a problem that demands urgent attention and action. We need to recognize that the health of our environment directly impacts the health of our population, particularly the most vulnerable among us. The global picture of pollution-related disabilities is a sobering one, and it underscores the fact that our actions, or lack thereof, have far-reaching consequences. It's not just about the air we breathe or the water we drink. It's about the lives that are irrevocably changed due to preventable disabilities. The data speaks volumes about the urgency and importance of addressing environmental pollution. So, what can we do to prevent these devastating health impacts? This question is the beacon lighting our path forward. It's about time we discuss the power of prevention, the strategies we can employ to reduce pollution and mitigate its health effects. Let's start at the top, with policy changes. Governments around the world have the power to enact laws and regulations that limit the amount of pollutants that industries can release into the environment. They can also incentivize businesses to adopt greener practices, such as using renewable energy sources or implementing waste management systems. But it's not just about imposing restrictions, it's about fostering a culture of environmental responsibility. Then, there's the world of technological innovation. Scientists and engineers are constantly developing new ways to clean up our environment and reduce our reliance on pollution-causing practices. From solar panels and electric cars to biodegradable materials and carbon capture technologies, the possibilities are endless. Technology is an invaluable tool in our fight against pollution, and by supporting these innovations, we can help speed up their implementation. But what about us, as individuals? What can we do? Well, a lot actually. We can reduce, reuse, and recycle. We can choose public transportation or cycling over driving. We can support local businesses that prioritize sustainability. We can educate ourselves and others about the dangers of pollution and the importance of protecting our environment. Every action counts, no matter how small it may seem. Prevention is the most effective way to combat the health effects of pollution. It's not just about treating the symptoms, it's about addressing the root cause. And the root cause is our collective behavior, our choices, and our priorities. So, let's make a change.